What do you do when your country is on the verge of collapse, when you have no hope left for your motherland? Many leave in search of a better life for themselves and their children. For many of them, the West shines as a beacon of hope. They risk everything to get to European shores, and often they lose everything in the process. A boat carrying migrants has capsized off the coast of southern Italy. Dozens died as the rough seas tore their ramshackle boat apart. The migrants were from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, and Somalia. So desperate were they to leave their crumbling nations that they decided to brave one of the world's most dangerous migration routes. Our next report brings you the details.
Before the break of dawn on Sunday, the southern Italian town of Crotone awoke to a tragedy. Dead bodies had started washing ashore. A ship had capsized off the Italian coast. The ship may be too generous a way to describe the dinghy. It was a wooden boat, too small and fragile to survive the rocks near Crotone. The boat was ferrying about 170 migrants. It carried families, including young children. The migrants were from countries like Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, and Somalia. Countries ravaged by war, plagued by economic crises, bereft of opportunities. These people left their homes looking for a better life. They boarded the questionable boat in Turkey. They were promised a better life if they set sail for Europe. Instead, for many, the boat brought death. After the boat capsized, Italian rescue workers were at the beach for hours. They worked frantically to try and rescue any migrants that washed ashore. The rough seas and crashing waves hampered rescue efforts. By the time the sun set, almost 60 people were confirmed dead. None of the children who had undertaken the journey survived. A 1-year-old was among the dead. Around 30 people were still missing. The death toll is likely to rise.
È una giornata di lutto per la Calabria.
It is a day of grief for Calabria. This is a struggle that falls into a general indifference. Calabria is a region that welcomes people. Last year, we welcomed 18,000 migrants, but we can't be abandoned by Europe. This type of tragedy should have been avoided the day before and not lived how we are living it today and how we will live it tomorrow.
Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni expressed sorrow at the deaths. She blamed human traffickers for the disaster, people who charge a fee to smuggle the desperate migrants into Europe. They were involved in this accident as well.
During the operations, an alleged smuggler was also identified, together with the Carabinieri patrol, and investigations are currently underway to ascertain responsibility for 3 other alleged smugglers, also of Turkish nationality, who are currently on the run, and the search is ongoing.
Every year, thousands cross the torrid Mediterranean Sea to seek greener pastures in Europe, and every year, hundreds die. It's considered one of the world's most dangerous migration routes. 20,000 people have died or gone missing at sea in the central Mediterranean since 2014. UN estimates say the Mediterranean has claimed more than 220 this year alone. Yet despite the obvious dangers, people continue to try and cross into Europe. Even though Europe is reeling from the war in Ukraine, it's still preferable for the migrants compared to their battered home nations. Migrants try and land in southern Europe and then make their way up. Northern Europe offers them refuge and a chance at a better life. And can you blame them? Their choice is often between dying at sea or dying at the hands of their brutal, ineffectual government. At least with migration, they're given a small glimmer of hope.